Okay, so the rains have come and it's been like this since yesterday. Rain, 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 rain. Everything is drenched. So I don't really like to be on the streets when it's raining. A lot of people don't know how to drive. They hit the brakes to they're sliding. So I said, okay, it's gonna be boring 3 days, but I always got something to do. So on my boat project, I was trying to install this filter that I'm going to show in the video. Well, I did show already, but this is going to be after. And I said, okay, I'm going to see if I can bring it up. So what I did is I brought the stuff back. I painted it in silver because it's the only can that was working, you know. And I drilled this hole. And the idea is that this is going to work like this. These two holes go on the block, on the engine, on the head, with an extension like that. And then the other one, it's in here. It has an extension like that. And then this part would go over. Still a little wet from the paint. This part will go over like that. So it goes over that hole and over that hole. So what I'm doing is I'm moving it up to this position. So I moved it up, let me see, not by much, but I think it'll be enough to do the job. 2 inches. Okay. So then that will be with the extension there. This one will go still on the block. And then I would have to let me see, because this plate has to be separate from this one here, and then it will sit like this, and I will put the bolts over that, and then the filter will go on this, so it's a little higher. So I think it'll work. I'm gonna let it sit here and dry. I mean, look at my hands are getting painted. It's just that I got a little bit impatient to do it, and I said I'm going to start doing it now. But I'm going to let it sit here in the cold garage and give it a few hours until it's really dry. Then I can do the other one. Where's the other one? Oh, right here. So I can do this one. And then I can take it back to the boat, install it, and then go in and install the filter. That way, the water separating filter is going to be a big plus. Okay, so it stopped raining. So I took my morning walk, 2 miles, and it's a nice day today. I mean, it cleared up, sunny skies. We got a few clouds, and those clouds are on their way here, and according to the weather forecast, it's going to rain again around 3 o'clock or so. So I said, okay, let me take advantage of the good weather and take a walk, have lunch, and continue with my project. So I'm almost done. What I did was I did an extension and I moved it. Let me show you. This hole was here, attached to this. This attaches to the block. This extension goes on the back side, so it's away from the block. Then I moved it up and I drilled a hole here for this bolt, and then this is the other bolt that was attached to there. But I only had 2 of these extensions, the silver one, so I made one out of PVC, and I made the same one here. There's another one at the boat that went under the engine. I gotta get it under there because it rolled under when I dropped it. And then I made one for this one. This is the one that was missing, and one for the new extension. So this is the way it's gonna go. It's gonna go higher now by 2.25 inches, and the filter goes here attached to these. The bracket sits here, and you attach it to this. So this is ready to go to the boat. So is that one. So now what is left to do is to touch it up with some paint. And oh, I'm also going to cut those bolts in the back, because that's the end of the, so the valve cover is going to be right behind it. So you want it to be short like that. So I have to cut it right up to the bolts, and I got to put it over here on the bracket. So let me do that. I don't know how long that's going to take, but I got to get it. I got to do it. This blade, it's a little bit worn out. We'll see what it could do. That's it. Now the other one, see if we can bring it out a little bit more. That's it. That's it. Bingo bango. Okay, so this is done. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, this is a little longer by an eighth. Maybe I should take it off and reduce it on the grinder. Goes up here. Then the other one. Everything in its place so you can find stuff. Otherwise, you're never going to find anything. Okay. Here's my little leftover. I always keep pieces of PVC for such an occasion. I got pieces back in the yard that I can use for whatever. Okay, that's my plumbing. That's my electrical. Okay, these go in this bag. Oh, I gotta put them in the box so I can paint them. Well, let's take a break a little bit. And I'm gonna go get a lighter. Okay, so I'm gonna smoke a little bit of this cigar. I don't think I'm gonna finish it. Okay, so while that's drying, I'm gonna smoke this cigar. And really, I can't do much until this rainstorm passes because it's going to be 3 days. So another thing I'm going to do, I just remembered. And if you have a boat, I suggest you do this too. I think it's a good idea. The ethanol and the fuel is screwing up a lot of boats, a lot of engines, a lot of carburetors. They're causing a lot of problems because some people say, oh, you got to top it off the tanks. So less air, less water to get out of the air. But the thing is this, it costs a lot of money to top off those tanks. Let's say you have a tank that's, like me, I have a half a tank. You mean I have to spend another $200 to bring the tanks up, or maybe more than $200? Because I think the gas is about $5.80 right now at the marina. So the thing is this, what I'm going to do is, once I install the bracket and put the water separating filter, and I really want to see that in action. I want to see the water separate. I'm going to put a shut-off valve just before you get to the carburetor, right after the pump. And once you shut it off, then you run the carburetor dry. You let the engine run until it's dry. So if there's no fuel in the carburetor, it won't caramelize and get everything sticky and stuff. I think that's a good idea. Actually, that's what I do with the bike. I run it, warm it up, and charge the battery and the whole thing, and then I turn it off and I run it dry, because before the fuel didn't have the problem. Fuel was a perfect detergent, and it will keep everything clean in the carburetor and the engine. But now they're adding this crap into it. It's causing more problems with motorcycles also. The ethanol is eating up the gaskets and eating up the inside of the hoses, getting them gummy, and all kinds of. They have to redo a bunch of stuff on the bike. So the same thing is happening with the carburetor, engines, and also fuel injection. You get a fuel injection clogged, you got to keep putting additives and additives. So the best thing is to turn off the gas on the engine, run it dry, and you're done. Now, let me see something. I don't think you can do that to a fuel injected engine. Correct me if I'm wrong, because you don't want to run the carburetor. You don't want to run the injectors dry. I think they will get damaged. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure. I know that you don't want to run the pump dry, but the pump is in the tank, let's say on a vehicle. So it's not sucking air, so you don't have to prime or anything like that. So maybe it won't do anything to the engine, but don't quote me on that. Maybe a mechanic could answer that better than me. But I know on a carbureted engine, it's not going to be a problem, because all you have to do before starting it is like what I do with the Blazer. I pump the hell out of it until it cranks. That pump fills up the bowl on the carburetor real quick, and boom, starts. You're going to have to do the same thing on a boat. You're going to have to pump it a few times. But it's a lot better to do that than to have to take off the carburetor and get it cleaned or get it rebuilt, or or something, because it's a hassle. It really is a hassle. So I'm going to do the valve. Now, do I do it right before in the hose, before it gets to the car, after or before to the pump, the mechanical pump? The fuel pump on an engine, it's always pumping, right? You got the valve inside doing this. But when the carburetor is full, the pump is pumping, but it's not overfilling, because you have the shut off on the carburetor. You got the float. and the float is going to turn the gas off on the carburetor, so you can do the same thing on the hose. And I don't think it'll harm anything. I don't think it'll harm the pump. The pump is still going to be pumping just for a couple of minutes, and then when it runs dry, you can lock up everything and go home. You don't have to worry about you can leave it for 6 months if you want to, or a year. Nothing's going to happen to the carb. But you don't want that caramelized, because the gas is going to start evaporating, and the ethanol is going to start evaporating. It's going to leave this film, this coat inside. It's going to clog the needles and all kinds of problems. So I think I have a valve here. I might go and try it on one engine and then do it on the other one, and it'll go right on the gas line. I think that's the way to do it. And then once the engine is running, it can filter the rest of that water. I'm really looking forward to that, the filter, seeing it in action. So let's see what's going to happen when I put it all together. And then I got to put gas on the other tank and take it out for a ride. But in this weather, not for a while. I'm not going to go in the cold, and it's going to be raining until 3 days now. So I'll go to the boat on Saturday, maybe Sunday, and try to put it together, and then run the engines. And I don't think I'll drive it until it gets warmer, you know, around February or March, around there. But this is the rainy season now. It's going to be raining. Usually in February it rains for a whole month. It used to be a whole month like this. So yeah. So today is us, what we call Noche Buena, which means good night, but not saying good night as good night to somebody. It's more like a food night because we eat a lot of food. We have the traditional pig, you know, pork shoulder or the whole pig with the yuca and the rice and the salads and the avocado and you know, all the goodies, that we serve in Christmas. So being that we're not really celebrating in the Christmas, tomorrow's Christmas, we didn't put up a tree or anything else because of what happened, and we're just gonna have a dinner that my wife made, a special dinner, one of my favorite dishes. I asked her, "Can you make it for me?" And she goes, "Yeah, I will," because I gave her a really nice present too. Two little things that go in here, really shiny. So, anyways, she gave me that camera, that GoPro 11. So that's enough for us. We don't, you know, we're gonna spend it here, just her and me, and without Papa. I really miss Papa. He used to go with us everywhere. So, anyways, okay, so I'm gonna let you go, and I'll continue with my projects and getting things done. I still gotta work on that knife. I haven't continued with the knife. Maybe tomorrow if it's still raining. I'll do it tomorrow. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you, and Happy New Year.